Hello, I'm JoAnn Bussa, Vice President of the Jefferson County Historical Society. Jefferson County is located in Washington State on the Olympic Peninsula. I'm here in Port Townsend, which was named by George Vancouver on his trip through Puget Sound. Port Townsend is a very unique town. Along Water Street, you'll see many Victorian buildings, and I'm going to tell you about a festival we have here every year. It's the Victorian Festival. But first, let's back up a little bit and tell you how we got here. After the gold rush in California, the settlers started moving further west. And when they discovered Port Townsend, they discovered a new kind of gold. It was called green gold, for the forest reached from the water's edge way up into the Olympic Mountains. The settlers became wealthy, and the merchants behind them became wealthy as well. Then there was the gold rush to Alaska and the Klondike, and they had to stop here on their way up to Alaska. Port Townsend also had the perfect deep water bay. Ships from all over the world had to stop here because the customs office was located here, and they had to go through the customs before they could go anywhere else, before stopping and leaving. Water Street became a real interesting place. There was actually 28 saloons along Water Street, and as many as I should say establishments for ladies to live in along Water Street as well. And then the next event was the railroad. It was on its way west, and we were positive it was going to stop here. The movers and shakers of Port Townsend knew the wealth that would follow once it did stop here. After all, Port Townsend was the second largest city after San Francisco. The speculators went crazy. They invested heavily, tore down the wooden structures on Water Street, and built structures 2 and 3 stories tall. The Victorian era was popular, and they followed suit in their architecture, in their buildings, as well as their homes. Thus, we became the Victorian seaport. However, the railroad did not stop here. It went to Seattle, and the rest, as they say, is history. Many of the speculators went bankrupt and had to move away, leaving their buildings behind them and their lovely Victorian homes. Years went by, and soon Port Townsend became a place where tourists would love to come and visit. And the buildings are now full of wonderful, eclectic shops, restaurants, and businesses. And the Historical Society, to celebrate the heritage and the Victorian seaport, has what we call the Victorian Festival, held each year the 3rd week in March. We have many events that we hope that you will come and enjoy. One of them is a history mystery, where Flip Wingrove does research on an actual historic happening in the city. Your job is to solve the mystery. We give you lots of clues, and on Sunday, if you become the one who can solve the mystery, you have a grand prize that we'll give you. We have a candlelight tour where you can visit many of the Victorian homes. You'll be served refreshments and hear the entertainment. I personally put on a fashion show. The fundraiser it is that goes to our scholarship recipient each year. And we show many fashions from the era. We have a walking tour of Water Street. Lynn Sterling, who started the Victorian Festival 10 years ago, will give you an update and the history of all the buildings along Water Street and the merchants who were living there at the time and running their businesses. You can find out many of the other events on our website. Please visit www.victorianfestival.org. You'll have a list of the events, what days and time they'll be running, and again, we sincerely hope you'll come and visit us during Victorian Festival, sponsored by the Jefferson County Historical Society. Thank you very much.